Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here. In today's video, I'll be talking about 3 players that a Washington Commanders radio host / insider thinks that the Washington Commanders will not draft at 29 next Thursday. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell so you never miss a video. Comment down below which player you do not want to draft at 29 for the Commanders. For me, it's Shamar Stewart. He probably won't be there, but I don't want him anyways. But let's get right into the video. So Kevin Sheehan said this about some players, just some players, from stuff he's heard, things he's noted, and things he's noticed about Dan Quinn and types of players he likes, why he thinks these 3 players won't be drafted. Also, something John Keim said about a player he does not think the Washington Commanders will be drafting. Let's get right into it. So again, this isn't, Kevin Sheehan isn't using necessarily a lot of sources on this. These are just predictions. But the other one, John Keim, did say he doesn't think that this one specific player will be drafted by the Washington Commanders, that some fans do want. So James Pearce, Luther Burden, and Omarion Hampton are the 3 players Kevin Sheehan says he doesn't think the Commanders will draft. And there was some good reasons why. James Pearce, a lot of it has to do with the character concerns with him. There's been a lot of different things. I don't want to go into it because the guy's about to get drafted, but there has been some legal things and then just some football stuff as well. Like I said, you guys can read into it if you want, but I see a lot of mocks with him slipping into the second round. So doesn't seem like a Dan Quinn / Adam Peters type of guy, but he is a high potential guy. I wouldn't mind the pick. But I understand why, they won't make the pick. I understand it. All right, so after James Pearce, the other one was Luther Burden. Kind of similar stuff there. It was more, stuff like, all right, he doesn't necessarily love football. Maybe his football character isn't necessarily the best. Maybe, he takes some plays off. Stuff like that where Kevin Sheehan was talking about a lot of the same reasons they moved on from Jahan Dotson were those reasons right there. And do you want to take a guy on Luther Burden that might do a lot of those things? For me, like I said, still wouldn't mind him. I think he's fallen a lot on the draft boards. I think he would be a good pick. Him and Jaden Daniels seem like they're pretty close. Jaden Daniels comments on his post. Luther Burden comments on his post. Said let's do it in terms of playing together. So I would like Luther Burden, Missouri wide receiver, good, ball skills, just a good receiver overall, and wouldn't mind drafting him, especially if he starts to really fall and you can trade back from 29 to like 33, 34 and draft him. I would like that. But again, I do agree with what Kevin Sheehan is saying, where it might not, mesh with what Adam Peters is looking for, Cliff Kingsbury specifically, what he's looking for in a receiver. But also, if Jaden Daniels really, really likes him, that might play a factor into the decision as well. So, but probably not the fit that the guys are looking for in terms of receivers. So if you're mocking a receiver to the Commanders, maybe don't mock Luther Burden. Maybe mock Ibuka from Ohio State. He seems like a guy that would fit what the Commanders are looking for. A really high character guy and really good football player too. Tet McMillan has some football character concerns in terms of does he love the game, taking plays off as well, but he's really talented. I would love that at 29. I just don't think he's going to be there. And there's some other receivers. Matthew Golden could be an option as well. Some other stuff, but Luther Burden was the second name on the list. The third name was Omarion Hampton. This one was a little bit interesting to me. I didn't really get it in terms of why. He didn't want to draft Omarion Hampton. If he's there at 29, I would, go ahead and pick him for sure. He's very, good traits. He's got decent speed, good size. I mean, he's 6 foot, 218 pounds, 40-yard dash, 4.4 time, and vertical jump is good as well. So 38 inches. So, he's got good athleticism. I think Kevin Sheehan's reasoning was he doesn't think he has the traits to be an elite back, like a top 5 back. And he's saying, you know what? If you're going to draft a back in the first round, it's got to be a Saquon Barkley type, a Bijan Robinson. He didn't say it, but Derrick Henry as well. not necessarily a guy that, is a good back, a really good back, but not an elite back. Because he did bring up a good point. You can draft a lot of these studs in the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, even undrafted guys you can draft that end up being studs. So I do get his point, but I think Omarion Hampton is really good. He said he didn't see a ton of wiggle from him, and I forgot what else he said. You guys can listen. It's right at the beginning of the podcast, but he just wasn't as much of a fan of Omarion Hampton as he thought he would be, and he doesn't think he has what it takes to be an elite back. So interesting thoughts right there. I agree with the James Pearce and Luther Burden reasoning. Not so sure about the Omarion Hampton. I also just don't think he is going to be there. I don't think he's going to be there for the Commanders. So James Pearce. This was seconded by John Keim, who said James Pearce doesn't sound like a Dan Quinn type of guy, and kind of said he would be surprised if they drafted him. Said some similar things about Mike Green, but not as, not saying he was aggressive, but not as strong of a statement as this one. So James Pearce, I just don't see it happening, especially after Keim said this, and then it just doesn't make a lot of sense, in terms of the character and what the Commanders are looking for. I like Donovan Ozaraku. I think he would be a good fit. Mike Green, for me, still, I wouldn't mind him. I still wouldn't hate the James Pearce pick at all. There's other edge rushers available that the Commanders could go after, but those are kind of the names that are in the range. Michael Williams, I don't know. He would be a really good pick. He's not going to be there at 29. He's probably going to go in the top 15, top 20, but he would be a really good option as well. But just some names to think about once we head into the draft. Some other kind of rumors that I do want to talk about. Ty Felton, the Commander. I made a video about that. Go ahead and watch that. I talked about it in more depth. They've showed some interest in him. They showed some interest in Bashal Tutin, running back, Virginia Tech. Really good speed. Has some fumbling issues. I think are a little bit overblown, but I do get it. But I would love him on day 3, probably early day 3 to late day 2. Bashal Tutin, I think, will be a really good back in this league. But that was mostly what I did want to talk about, was some guys that I don't think they will be drafting in this year's draft. Let's go over some other guys. ESPN drafts him. Just some other guys in the top of the draft. We'll go to the Titans just so it's we can just look at the big board here. So obviously none of these top guys they're going to be able to get. Jalen Walker, Ashton Genty, Barron, Will Johnson, maybe he slips, but you see James Pearce 16. I think he'll probably start slipping a little bit, and I don't think the Commanders are going to draft him. Shamar Stewart, I'm trying to think you could see a safety. Malachi Starks has been getting mocked to the Commanders. Watch out for him. Azra Thomas, no. What's his name? Josh Connerly. If an offensive lineman is taken by the Commanders, that's who I would say gets drafted is, in the first round, or if they trade back into the second. I think it'll be Josh Connerly. They met with him at the Combine. I think a top 30 visit, a bunch of different meetings with him. So I think they do have some interest in him, and just something to keep in mind there for the Washington Commanders if they do want to draft an offensive lineman. Keim did say that he does think the Commanders will be drafting an offensive lineman, whether that's in the first, second, third. I guess they don't. I mean, who knows what pick they'll have when draft day comes or when the selection comes. But he thinks they'll draft a running back. Offensive lineman. He also thinks they're interested in drafting and replacing Robinson in terms of just drafting another running back. They need someone else. He mentioned all of that. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hit all that like button, notification bell, subscribe, do all that good stuff. It really helps out a ton. Peace.